Okay, so I've talked about the ways we can help, and I was just going to mention we have scholarships that are available for students throughout the North State. And Megan, there's a slide at the end. She will have a couple words for you. And then we do a lot of special projects. I think some of you are familiar with North State Giving Tuesday. And then we also have programs like Jumpstart that helps with nonprofits in their development. And so we just really try to be responsive to the community. So I have a lot of nonprofits watching this, and I would be remiss if I didn't share this slide with you all. We have a lot of organization or agency funds. And so nonprofits will start a fund here to grow it for in perpetuity to have funds that continue to grant out to the organization. And one of the reasons this is really important is because if you have a fund here, maybe someone gives you a bequest or just a significant enough donation. If you keep it at your bank or you do your own investing, you might not have as good returns and dividends as we might be able to get here. But also, we're wanting this money to stay forever for your organization. And sometimes there aren't as many checks and balances if it's kept locally when there's changes in leadership. And here it can be really well protected and set up by the board. And like, this is what you want this money used for. This is how money can be requested. It's going to be a grant every year to general fund for operating, whatever it is. So it's a really valuable tool that a lot of nonprofits take advantage of. The other thing too is, as Andrea says here on our screen, do not say no to free money. I don't know if any of you can accept Bitcoin or IRA transfers or real estate and turn it into cash for yourselves. A lot of nonprofits can't. That's what we do. So if you ever have somebody who wants to support you, but they don't have cash, but they have other valuable items they'd like to share with you, don't say no to free money. Say, yes, we work with the Community Foundation of the North State, and then give us a call and we'll see if we can't help you with that. Yeah, that's that for that screen. All right. On to the meat of the matter. Some people might want to take a little snip of this. You will also get the full slide deck. These are just your deadlines. We have 4 grants we're offering right now. The Animal Welfare Endowment Fund, Fernie Regional Community Fund, Community Arts Fund, and the Reading Rancheria Community Fund. And these are your application deadlines, and then approximately when the notification of awards will come out. Definitely within the 3 months we usually take from the time that an application's due. It's up to about 3 months to process and do all the things we do. So I'm going to stay here just for a second in case anyone's doing a screen snip. Okay, we are curious what the people who are here live now, what is the grant that you are applying for, and you can choose more than one. So I don't know, Megan, if you can pull that up, that'd be awesome.
Yep, it's open for answers.
And then I'm curious, do you mind sharing out loud?
Yeah, so Reading Rancheria is 80%. Bernie Regional is 40%. Community Arts is 20%, and we have 16% for animal welfare.
Great. That's not surprising, but a really good showing. There's 35 of you on here, so that's pretty good. So I'll notice what to speak to as well, spend more time on. Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. So the IRS dictates what community foundations are allowed to grant funding to make grants to, and so this is our list. Nonprofits, you have to have a tax exempt status. It's a 501(c)(3) public charity with the IRS and be in good standing. Public entities can also apply. So, schools, special districts, federally recognized tribes, those are all public entities. But you might have a project that you're working on that maybe you're in the process of applying for your 501(c)(3) and you're not there yet, or it's absolutely a public charitable thing you do, but you're not a nonprofit. You could be sponsored by a 501(c)(3) or a public entity. So that's absolutely an option. And then also, we sometimes get specific questions around what about our tribes who are not federally recognized? It's just like the nonprofit. Either you are a nonprofit or you could be sponsored. So you absolutely still could still apply. And so those are the rules by the IRS. And then there are exceptions based on what the actual funder has intended. So for the Bernie Regional Community Fund, there's a restriction around schools and also churches. So nothing that could be affiliated with them or to benefit the school. Because when that fund was set up, there was another separate fund specifically for schools in that area. So it's not that they're not being supported, they're being supported differently. And then community arts endowment, individuals can apply. And that's not normal for the regular way of operating, but for the arts fund, it is. An artist could apply. So what is due diligence? That's when we go and we do the work to make sure that we receive an application, that you have all these requirements that are a part of applying, and that we can actually make grants to you. So as nonprofit executives, staff, what have you, it's your responsibility. You should have it be a regular part of what you do to do your own charity health checkup all the time. So you should always make sure that you're in good standing with the IRS by doing your filings every year. And then similarly with the California Secretary of State. So these are two links for you to check. So you have your IRS, you can go to candid.org to see if you're in good standing. And then also this link here, this is just the Secretary of State's biz file, and search with your business and you'll see if you're behind on anything. It's good for you to do it. This is one of those start nows, because then you know it's done. Otherwise, if we wait until the application deadline and we start doing the due diligence and then you have things to do, you might run out of time for the funding cycle, and we'd hate for that to happen. The other thing, which I have listed first, is that you can't have any past due reports with the Community Foundation. So if you're not sure, you would find that out on in the portal. And if you're not sure, you can give us a call as well. We're happy to help with that. So Megan, are there any questions before I get into each of the different funds?
Nope, we're doing great.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to give an overview for each of our four grants. Geographically, what do they cover? What's the purpose? And sort of the funding range, so you have an idea going in. So the Animal Welfare Fund was set up to serve Shasta, Siskiyou, and Tehama counties. And as one might assume, it's for organizations that work primarily with animals, the welfare of animals. And it can be in different categories. It can be for homeless animals, people who own animals, pets. It can be for wildlife, like helping wildlife, rescuing them, rehabbing, but also working animals. So if you're caring for animals that are worked in service animals or maybe in law enforcement, that's the Animal Welfare Fund. It is a newer grant in the grand scheme of things, a fund, I mean. And so the fund, it's not big $20,000 grants, but they're really impactful because you can do so much with small dollars as well. And so the range is $1,000 to $5,000. Typically, the average grant's around $2,500, but that's the range. And you can ask for what you need, not to exceed $5,000, and then we make decisions based on the application and the competition. These are general welfare general operating funds. I'm remiss in not saying that. These are not for special project, and that's really great because that's precious dollars. So this goes to general operating. The Bernie Regional Community Fund, this serves the greater Bernie Intermountain area, and the boundaries were set up to match the Fall River Joint Unified School District maps. So it includes the towns that are listed here: Bernie, Castle, Fall River Mills, Hat Creek, MacArthur, and Old Station. And again, this is for general support, and really we're just wanting to be responsive to the different needs that are in the area. It just what gets granted each time varies based on the applications we received. As I mentioned, for the specific grant, schools, organizations that support schools, or if the projects supporting the schools are not eligible, as are churches and individuals. So, and that grant range is $1,000 to $7,500. The pictures that you see throughout this slide deck, by the way, are all pictures from prior grants that were awarded for the different funds. So the Community Arts Endowment Fund is specifically for Shasta and Siskiyou counties, which is designated from when the fund was set up. The people who contributed to this fund, this is the areas they were serving. And it's for new presentation of public arts. So it doesn't need to be new. But it can be a variety of different mediums as listed here: dance, theater, music, writing, sculpture, painting, photography, film, graphic design, the whole spectrum of the arts. And as I mentioned earlier, individual artists may apply, and the grant range is $1,000 to $2,500. Look at these cute girls in their backstage studio at Riverfront. All right, the last one, and this one is the most of you are here to learn about, is the Redding Rancheria Community Fund. And this fund supports projects in Shasta and Trinity counties. It's for general support, which is also great, precious dollars, but it cannot cover salaries. And these are just a few ideas of areas that it can cover, but it is general support, so it does not have to be specific. And this fund encourages groups to apply that serve Native Americans, youth, and rural communities, which I'm pretty sure we all fall into. The grant range can be anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. But one of the beautiful things about Redding Rancheria and why I love this fund is they don't want to give just like 2 big grants to 2 organizations and everyone else misses out. They really want to support as many nonprofits as possible. So because of that and the dollars available, the average grant is usually around $2,500. There are some larger grants, $5,000 and $10,000, but I just want you to have a realistic expectation. Certainly ask for what you want and need, and we'll get into some more of those details. But just for expectations, that's the average is $2,500. Right, any questions before I get into some technicalities of accessing the application?
You are good to go, Justine. Great.
So how do you find our application? And I know you can find the website because you would not be here watching this webinar if you hadn't. So it's our cfnorthstate.org and /grant/grants. There's also a drop down on the website, but that's the actual URL. And when you go there, you'll see that says our fall grant cycle opens yesterday. And each of the 4 you'll see has a section here. And this last blue, not the first one, but the second one, if you click that, it opens up the information about that grant. So we're going to pretend I just click that. And on the right side, this is the page that opens up. So this is Boerne Regional Community Fund. When you click that, this is what you find. You'll see here a summary of a lot of what I already shared. And then you can see what have they funded in the past? What are things that have been funded? And that's always a really good thing to do on any grant making journey that you're on for applications. Always look at a foundation's prior funded grants. It gives you an idea of things that are of interest or that might be more having their attention or might be on their priority list. It's a good idea. And another thing we want you to see here, and that's why I have this little star, is don't go straight into applying. We're not going to click here to apply first. We really encourage you to download the PDF of the application questions and work on them on your computer first, and then go back and apply and actually fill in online. It's just a really good pro tip. So we're going to pretend I clicked preview application questions. And then this here is what would come up. So I've previewed the application and I get this PDF of all the questions here for Boerne Regional. People ask me, how do I download it? What do I do? All of our computer systems are different, but what we do is, it's downloaded into my computer, and I happen to have a download icon that I can click, and then I save it on my computer. That's the best advice I can give you because all of our systems are different. So once I've downloaded it, then I have the whole PDF I'm going to work with to answer my questions. So on the right, this is like the very first part of the Boerne Regional Funds grant. All of the applications look like this. They start with the name and the grant information and parameters. Anytime you apply for a grant, whether it's from us or any other entity, you always, always, always want to look at this type of information. What is important? Highlight it. Do you meet the geographic area? Are you within the award limits? Are you covering the type that this money is intended to serve? Like this, this is gold. if you look at this first and make sure that what you want to do matches this, then you're on a good start for your grant. These color highlights don't mean anything other than I wanted to bring your eye to them. So all the information you need to be eligible is right here at the very beginning of all of our application forms. So one of the first questions you're going to be asked is what organization status you are that you're applying for. And when you do that online, like at the end, it will automatically then populate the questions that apply to that type of organization. But you can imagine when we create this PDF for you to download, we're going to have every single scenario on there. So in this slide deck I'm going to share with you, there's some things you can ignore depending on which one you applied for. So that's what I'm going to cover here. So you're going to say how you applied. And then also you're going to say your project name or your grant description. This is short. I cannot overstate that. This is short. We don't want the why. We just want a quick reference to the idea of this project that you're wanting to fund. So I have some examples here. It could be for general support. It could be for general support to help offset rising horse care costs. It could be to purchase safety equipment. So like, this is not a sentence. This is not why you need it. It's just quick. This gets printed on your checks. It goes on the top of your grant agreement forms. It's a quick reference. You will have plenty of time in the narrative to explain why you need this information. It's just a reference. If it's helpful, look at item B here. If you're struggling with what to write, maybe try to finish the sentence. If awarded, funding from this grant will provide, support, purchase, fill in the blank. And then you would put in the provide, fill in the blank as this. So I don't know if that's a helpful tool, but obviously I'm talking about this because it's hard for people to get sometimes. So I'm trying to be helpful. Okay, so you have said you're either a public charity or you're a public entity or you're fiscally sponsored. So if you put you're a public charity, then you're just going to look on your PDF version for this section here in the organizational financials. You only care about this. You don't care about public entity. You don't care about fiscally sponsored. You can ignore those. Likewise, if you're a public entity, all you need to think about is this one. So that's all I have to say about that, because it is confusing for people if they don't realize you can ignore the other two. So what is it that we want you to provide in the financial records for your organization? You're going to provide a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet if you're a public charity. If you're a public entity, you're going to just provide a current year budget summary for your department. Now, if you're fiscally sponsored, you have a bigger lift because you need to provide information for both your fiscal sponsor and for you, the applicant. And these would include the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet. So I'm going to click to the next page and keep going on this idea, unless my computer is not happy. Why are we going the wrong way? Oh, there we go. It went the right way. Okay, my computer's responding slow. Sorry, guys. So this is a start now. You want to start on asking your finance people. You might be your finance people, but sometimes this takes longer, or there might be other things that they have to take care of before they can get to this. So share this with them straight away. I'm so sorry, that was my phone. How rude. So you want to share this with them straight away and make the request. So you're going to ask them for a profit and loss or statement of activities or the balance sheet. For those of you who know what these are, you can check out for a second, but a lot of people don't because not everyone who works in nonprofits knows what these are. So I just do a real quick 101 here. So a profit and loss statement, or also known as a statement of activities, is all the income and all the expenses that your organization has used in a period of time. So money in, money out in a certain time period. Versus a balance sheet, it's a snapshot. How much money is in the bank? What is your property worth? what equipment do you have? Who do you owe on this one day? So balance sheet is what are your assets, like what's your values, and then what do you owe people? What are your liabilities? And how they work together is that if for us, we're going to say, give us your closest 12-month period of your profit and loss. So we want to see 12 months of activity just in one column. You don't have to do every month separate. So in this case, a really good, if you can do it, do from July 1st of 25 to June 30th, 26. Have it all be in one spreadsheet. And then your balance sheet would have the exact same last date. So on the balance sheet for June 30th, then that's all you need to do is print it for that day. One of the questions is if you have a really, like if it shows like a really big loss or a really big gain that's unusual, I mean, we would like you just to go ahead and explain that. It's not a bad or a good. We understand that there could be receivables, there could be money that you received last year, but then you have your expenses this year. We get it. Just explain it. That's a part of doing business. So some nonprofits are so grassroots that they haven't had to produce these financials before. So this is what they look like. This one on the left is your statement of activities or your profit and loss. Your income comes first, and you list your types of income, and then it totals the income. And then your expenses come next, and it totals them. And then it shows the change in net assets. So your income minus your expenses. Did you make money or lose money in this time period? And then your balance sheet, at the top lists all your assets, your cash, maybe you have some receivables from a grant, any investments. This is your total assets. And then any payables you have due. And then sometimes you also might have your restrictions, like you have money that's specifically from a grant for a specific use. You cannot use it anywhere else. It's a good idea to mention that, because we might see like, well, why aren't you able to use this $330,000 for your project instead of using the funds from the grant? So that would show us, oh, that's for a specific purpose. You don't have that available to just do what you want with. So these are helpful parts that we look at on a balance sheet.
We do have a couple of good questions here, Justine.
Yes.
Okay. So we just launched our nonprofit January 2026. Does this disqualify us?
So it doesn't disqualify you, but at the Community Foundation of the North State, we are responsible for other people's money. And one of the things that we do take into consideration, and when we're looking at the financials, is if what is the financial health of your organization? Are you going to be around? Are you solvent? And so organizations that don't even have 12 months under their belt, it's really hard to assess that. So it's not that you're not doing good work. You certainly are eligible, but it's unfortunately, it's like, how do you get the money to do the program when you're first starting? But it's definitely something we consider, as opposed to if you've been around a couple of years, we're like, oh, okay, you got your feet on your ground, you got some funding, you know, you're going to be around. We can judge that better after a few years.
And one more question, Justine. Keith has one. So they have a P&L for January 2025 to December 2025. Is that acceptable, or do we need to create one that goes through the first half of 2026?
It is better if you have one that shows what's going on this year, because otherwise we're like, well, we don't know. It's already August. Like, why don't you have one? Like, what is your record keeping that you don't have one? I know I worked with small businesses and nonprofits for a large part of my professional career, and I understand sometimes you just turn your receipts over and your bookkeeper does it at the end of the year. But when it comes to applying for grants, it's something you want to keep up on more, that you're able to turn it around to show that you're doing well this year. We do, so it's better. Yeah, it's better if you get it closer.
Perfect. Thank you, Justine.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are new slides for this year. I've never shared, shame on me. What do they look like, these financial reports for the public entities? So I just shared a few examples, and this is all public information that I could find on the website, because public entities are government, so I'm not sharing anything that I shouldn't. So the city of Anderson, this was a budget for their public works, was submitted with a grant. That's what this looked like. Red Bluff Fire, this was theirs. It does have their actual from prior years, their budget, their original budget, what it would, because you do revisions. So this is what theirs look like. And then with the city of Corning, where we're looking at doing a pool, helping them with their pool. So this is what their pool department budget looks like. So their annual budget is on here, which we asked for. But what's really great here is, in this case, they had city funds that were also going towards it, and they were able to show it and highlight it. So you see it's budgeted, it's been approved by city council, it's right there. So different things like that, depending on your grant. This might be a tip for you for later, not for necessarily for us now, but this was a really great thing to see that they just pointed it out for us. So those are just different ways that if you're a public entity, what your application might look like for your financials. This is another new slide that we added this year, just to give a quick overview of the types of questions that are asked in the narrative sections. So for animal welfare, you're going to provide a history and purpose of your organization and your achievements, and then also what you're focused on in the next 12 months. And we're interested in knowing if you collaborate with other organizations, what does that look like? And do you track your information? I think most animal welfare organizations would, just what are you using? It gives us an idea of the type of organization and what you're doing. And that's it. It's not a big lift. Bernie Regional, again, we want a helicopter view, an overview of the organization. What's important to know is that the people who are evaluating the applications don't necessarily know anything about your organization. So you're doing a quick intro, and you want to make sure that you can do that with anyone you're talking to in fundraising for your organization. So that's just all of these, that's what we're asking for. Like, who are you? What's your organization do? Show yourself off to us. With Bernie Regional, we ask what you're focused on again in the next 12 months. And we do want to know how you anticipate using the funds. And in the narrative itself, there's no budget, but in the narrative itself, maybe include a breakdown of costs. And I do have on the next slide an example of how to do that very easily. It's like, I don't want to create a lot of work for you, but there's an easy way to do that. So community arts is a little bit different than the other three because it is a project-based grant. So what is this project? Why do you need the money for it? Who's going to get to see it? Sell it, tell us this amazing art project that you have and how it's going to be great for the community and the people that get to come see it. We do want to know your timeline. You don't have to get into the minutia, but give us a good idea. And then you will be asked to upload a project budget and photos. And if you're an individual, you don't have the financial documents, but you do need to provide references and any collaborative relationships and that kind of thing. And then with Redding Rancheria, again, we want an overview of your organization, how you anticipate using the funds. And you absolutely want to include a breakdown of the costs in the narrative. I cannot overstate that. It is incredibly competitive. And while I want you to ask for what you need, show a breakdown of that. So when the panel is they have 2 different meetings where they get together and they review out the applications. And when they're in that final meeting deciding, they need to be able to look and see, okay, we can't do the full 5,000 or we can't do the full 8,000, but by reading this, I could help this many kids for this many dollars, so we can give this much. They want to be able to do quick math. And the next slide, I'm going to show you an example of that. That's really important. On all of them, you need to list your board of directors. That is very important to us, that we see your board of directors. One of the things we're looking at is it's a part of the board of directors is in charge of the word just escaped me, I'm sorry, but it's making sure that you're compliant. They're responsible liability-wise, and we want to make sure that you're taking that seriously, that it's not the same person serving all 3 roles. There's not a lot of checks and balances there, and there's not a lot of resources to help the organization. Board members have great contacts. They can give advice. They can help with fundraising. They can make sure that things are legally being taken care of and holding the CEO accountable. So that's why we ask for the board of directors list. So these are your examples for budgets. So for the community arts, it's not a big budget. It's $2,500 grant. So you can be very simple. Just say the name of your project. This is just a little Excel sheet that you can just create. This is the income for the project. These are the expenses. Please forgive me if you're with the arts. I used very rudimentary expense lines. You can combine things on one. You don't have to like put every single thing separate to show that the expenses total the revenue. Very simple. When you're writing your narrative and you're including the expenses, these are some examples of how to do that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to provide childcare and do these activities with children. And like I'm looking at the second bullet, it's 50 cents a day a child to feed them. And there's 44 children. So that's $22 a day. And they are attending for 180 days. You see, it's very easy to do quick math. So the total cost is $39.60. But if I can't do that, I could quickly figure out $22 a day. How many days could I feed these kids? So when I'm sitting around the table with the panel and helping them decide how much they can grant, we want them to be able to do, yeah, you know what you're doing. You've demonstrated this. You know how much it costs to do what you're doing, and then we can do quick, like, oh, okay, we can support these elements out of it. Are there any questions on that, Megan?
No, none so far.
Okay. And even if you're asking for general operating support, put in your money, explain in there as well. Like maybe you had, like there was a 20% increase in rates. So you had these unanticipated revenues, or maybe you've lost funding because, administration cut grants. Like explain it so that they can still be using that in their mind. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why that they need help with their utilities or their overhead. I mean, the goal is you want to make it as easy as possible for the panel to understand your project, and think if you were in their shoes, what questions they might have if they don't know anything about your project. And you want to answer them so that they don't have to come back and say, well, I don't know because I don't have this information. So I don't know if that helps with that paradigm. All right, we're going to move to photos. We love photos here at the Community Foundation of the North State because we love promoting your organizations. And we love promoting the grants, and then it inspires other people to continue giving money so we can continue granting money out to you. So it's this whole full circle thing. And we have noticed that our nonprofits need a little extra education on good photos. So I got 4 slides on photos, which is good because at least they're interesting, right? This might seem simple, but these are the things that a good photo can do. It's going to capture your attention immediately. Like you can see what's going on. Maybe it gives an emotional connection to your work that you're doing. Without any words, it can show the impact. Like you, right now, all of you sitting here could look at this picture and know exactly what's going on with the basketball and exactly what's going on with these boys out in the wild. Their little clipboards. Like you get it. Like these tell stories, and they're so impactful. You build trust. I am not just reading it in words. I actually get to see it. It really is happening. So it just really all around, pictures can strengthen your grant applications. When you're doing reports back, it absolutely strengthens that too. And those are what we can report out. It's really, really helpful. And then also it can help with your future applications as well. So don't underestimate the value of the photo. On the left side, we have a poor photo, and on the right side, we have a good photo. This is Megan. We love Megan and her photos being helpful. We really do get pictures like this one on the left. It's a crooked photo. It's of an empty chair. I cannot use this. I'm not going to send it to the fund advisor. It's not going to help them see that they help you with new furniture. But on the right, with a person sitting there, making it like more interesting, that they're happy they got their chair, I'm going to send that to my fund advisor and say, oh my gosh, they're so happy. Thank you for the funds. And they might decide, hey, I'm glad I made an impact. I'm going to do this again. And you want to make sure, like, we can see what's going on again, I'm repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. It really does increase the confidence for the applicant. And it matches the narrative. If you're saying you're going to do a thing, have the picture be about the thing, if possible. Some of you might be thinking, what I want to do is not sexy, and it really doesn't tell a story. And I would like to challenge your thinking on that. So Riverfront Playhouse gave me permission to use their application in this webinar. They needed a new roof. They actually had to apply 3 times. They were denied the first 2 times. This last time they nailed it. So they really improved their process. I know there's a lot here, you guys, but do you see all these pictures of how bad that roof was? So I got pictures of the outside. That's telling me a story. And then I got pictures of all these different rooms at the Riverfront Playhouse that it wasn't just the roofs like looking bad, it's actually affecting them. So they're showing me the story of inside and the floor. Like, hello, people are coming to watch the theater and there's going to be buckets here with the water on the floor. They also remembered to say, well, I need them to remember what we actually do here. And so they sent me some photos in with their application of them actually doing some acting, which is a part of what they do. So they took a very unsexy thing, but they still told a story with their pictures, and it really validated the need. Some of you are going to tell me, and I know you're already thinking it, Justine, we cannot take pictures of our clients. We can't do it. They're with the children or domestic violence or whatever it is. And I would challenge you to think outside the box. You can tell a story with pictures without showing faces, without showing things that are identifiable. Obviously, the artist is not showing that. It's just a good picture. But you got kids on the playground with chalk. This might be some community outreach that you're doing. Who knows? I have no idea who these children are, but I sure do love this story. And I would love to share this with the funder. Look what your money did. Look what the kids are outside, and it was a great community event. Here, you can't tell who these people are, that they're on a hike, or this was really creative doing the silhouettes. So with keeping with all of your permissions and your organization's rules, you can still meet the needs that we have at the Community Foundation and that the funders want to see, to get that feedback. So there's ways to do it. Okay, last picture of pictures. These are cool. I mean, these are great pictures. They're all of things we do here. We had a donor give money to help with the food up in Siskiyou. Yes, I'm sending this out. Yes, I'm putting this on social media. This is fantastic. These are volunteers. They're not people receiving food. That's a great story. These people had permission to have their pictures in here. They're receiving health support. You can do it. You can make it interesting, and you don't have to be a professional photographer. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. We're going to go into some technical assistance now with getting into the grant portal. So you're going to go back to our website, that's cfnorthstate.org grants, and you're going to need to scroll down just a little bit to get to the grant portal section and click here. Once you've done that and you're on our page to log in, would you please save that on your, bookmark that, the portal, because you're going to need to go back there all the time, and it's just easier if you don't have to, take 3 steps to get there. Every person who has an account with us, a username, it's unique to their email, because you guys share information when you do applications about your financials of your organization, the work that you're doing, your background, and so we protect that, and we don't want just anyone being able to go in there. So don't share your email addresses with another user. If you have another employee that comes along or another volunteer that you want to apply, they need to get their own unique login, and you just give us a call. We'll take care of that. So you clicked here, and this is the screen that comes up. Here's your third start now. Make sure now that you can log into the portal. So that's your third one. So if you've never logged in before, don't click create new account. That's actually for the organization. That's not for the user. So if you're with Haven Humane and you're not sure if Haven has an account, but you don't click new account, because then Haven does already have an account, right? So we don't want 2 in there, because then we got to merge them and it's messy. Just give us a call. absolutely here for you. We want to help you through this process. You can all, but once you do, you're going to come here and you would click forget your password to reset your create your own password. It's all very user friendly, but we just like to point out, please don't create a new account and call us and we'll add you as a user. It's really fast. So Riverfront Playhouse, still I'm using them. They gave me permission. Thank you so much. When you log in, depending on the time of year and what we have going on, you might land on different screens. This is your dashboard screen. So right now, if they had any open grants that were assigned to Rhonda, you would see them under this left section I talk about, and then in the middle section. So right now, there's nothing going on there for Riverfront, and they would click here to apply. Anytime you're here and you want to get back, you're like, I don't know how to get back to my home screen, always just click the home and it'll bring you back to this dashboard. And then you can just breathe and keep going again. You can also check all your organizational history here. So we've clicked the apply button. And right now, because it is grant season for the fall, you're going to get taken to this eligibility quiz page. So the eligibility quizzes are just real quick, like 3 or 4 questions to make sure that your organization is eligible for the grant opportunity. And so here you'll see the eligibility quiz for Bernie Regional. This one is for Reading Rancheria. This one's for Animal Welfare. And this one's for Community Arts Endowment Fund. So there's 4 of them right now, and you can apply to all 4. You don't have to just pick one, but you can only apply to each one once from your organization. So we're going to click Bernie Regional, and we're going to do the eligibility quiz. And this is what shows up. So I'm going to put in how much I'm applying for. Am I a public charity or a public entity? Am I a school-based or a church? This one, if you say yes, you're going to be disqualified because it doesn't fund to those 2 entities. Are you in the right geographic area, and do you have all of your reports up to date? And then you hit submit. And then you'll be back to this page here with the eligibility quizzes. So originally we had 4 and now we have 5 because that original eligibility quiz, you passed, it's eligible. And if you're not, it would say not eligible. And then if you come down here, now you can apply. So you click the apply button. If you've made a mistake and you know you're eligible, you've obviously just accidentally marked a box wrong. And full disclosure, when I was creating this for the webinar, I did it wrong. I had to go back and reset the eligibility quiz for my test and resubmit it. So it happens, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to click the apply button. And then start submitting, like doing all of the application, like it'll be there just like your PDF that you did, and you'll just be entering in all your information that you have ready. And then when you're done, when you're working on it, you might not be able to finish. That's okay. You can stop at any time. On the very last page, if you scroll down, you can click Save Application. Just remember when you're done to come back and submit before the grant deadline. And you will get a confirmation email. So maybe if you don't see it, check your spam, but you get a confirmation to say it's been received. We often get called like, how do I get a PDF? I want to see my application. It's not intuitive, so I just want to show you here. You go click that home icon when you log in, and then this will be on that middle section. So this is a tiny snip of that middle section. This is what you'll see, and you see the word application. You would click that. It'll open your application. And then this is like a snip of the application. If you click the application packet, it'll download it to your computer. How are we doing, Megan?
Yeah, we do have one great question. Wade was wondering if they could apply for funds for a contest for the public art to be installed on their property. We'd rather know we have the money before finding and deciding what the actual art project would be. This is for the arts grant.
Yeah. My recommendation is that's not a very strong grant. Yeah, because you're not telling me what it is, what's going to fund. Just based on that tiny bit, Wade, maybe it's a phone call, because maybe it's more than that. Maybe you're like, well, this is actually an art project that like it's going to we're going to do it, but we're going to let the artist decide. Like, I don't know, like there might be more to it, but if it's just as flat as what just the going only on the information you shared, I'd say, well, that's not very strong, but there might be more. So we could talk about it. The more specific and exciting you can be about it, the more competitive your grant. Like, it's one thing to be eligible, it's another thing to be competitive. You want to be compelling, like, and not knowing what you're doing isn't very compelling.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a good question, Wade. I know other people are probably curious about that as well. So once you've submitted your application, please make sure, if you haven't already, that both Megan and I are email contacts, because we will contact you by email. If we have trouble with your eligibility, if the grant panel members have questions about your application and I have to follow up with you, I'll email that to you. And then it'll be usually a quick turnaround too. They're not questions you'll have to spend tons of time researching. They're just clarification questions. So please make sure that we're contact so that it doesn't go into your junk folder. Just a tiny bit about the grant panel members. We recruit community members to be on the grant panels, and we teach them and bring them along to evaluate the applications and then bring them to consensus. And we find that's a really, really great way for the community to be involved. It's really good grant making. We feel like the community members themselves know what the community needs, and they just do such a stellar job of making recommendations for the grants. And then, of course, all of the grants are approved by our board of directors. So that's why all these steps go in line to make it about a 3-month process before you would hear from us. Regardless of the outcome, you will get an email from us to let you know. So I would just want to say again, you're going to do your due diligence is one of your start nows. You're going to start right now on your financial reports and make sure you can actually log into the portal. Those are your 3 things. So if your organization is awarded, you're going to be emailed to sign a grant agreement. Remember to take pictures of your project and track your expenses. If there's any changes, because that life happens, you absolutely please just give us a call. We're here to work with you. If you need to make some modifications, you have to get it in writing from us, so email us the details. And if you finish the grant project before the deadline, you are absolutely welcome to submit that grant report whenever you're done with the project and all the expenses. This is something we're trying to really educate people about. It's in your grant agreement and in the email, but I just want to say I have a shout out to Modoc Feline Humane Society. This is the first time they'd applied for a grant, and they followed the instructions to the T. This snip is from their newsletter, and they did it perfectly. They referenced the fund name of Community Foundation of the North State. So, for example, Bernie Regional Community Fund of Community Foundation of the North State is how you would reference the fund if you were granted that. So always include the Community Foundation of the North State. And tag us. We love being tagged on social media. And if you wanted to have us review stuff before you publish it, we are happy to do that. If you're not awarded a grant, we get it. It's really hard. This is the hard part. You are welcome to reach out for feedback. And if I have it, I will give it to you. But I want you to know that sometimes you didn't do anything wrong. It's just so competitive. Others, like the funding wasn't there. Here's a perfect example. Reading Rancheria in the spring, we had over $500,000 in requests and $125,000 to grant. So sometimes it's just a matter of other things were more pressing, more compelling, aligned with what they're focused on more. And we always encourage you to reapply next time. Riverfront Playhouse is the perfect example of that. They applied 3 times and were awarded on the 3rd time. I know we're almost at time. I got 3 minutes. North State Giving Tuesday is coming up very soon. It's Christmas, you guys. I know you don't believe me because it's 108 outside, but it really is. So registration opens August 17th. For those of you who don't know about North State Giving Tuesday, it's an amazing online giving platform day. You can see here in one day, $1.45 million was raised for the North State last year. Over 200 nonprofits participated. It is an amazing event. We have sponsors who donate money. We have fund advisors. And then really what it comes down to is the nonprofits that are involved, that are signed up and participating, you promote the heck out of it. And the more you promote using the tools we provide you, the more money that I'm certain you're going to raise because you're getting the word out. So everything you need to know is on northstategives.org. Absolutely register on the 17th. I would get it in and jump through the hoops. The state of California's Attorney General's office is very much involved because this is online giving and there are some certain rules and restrictions, but we will help you with all of that. Don't worry, but just don't wait to start. All right, this is our last slide, scholarships. Again, it's almost fall, and the universal applications will open on November 2nd. Megan, this is your program. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we're just excited to open another round of scholarships November 2nd. If you have any questions, students, parents, guardians, counselors, just reach out to us. I'm available email or phone call. So
great. Any last questions we have, Megan?
No, chat is
right.
all cleared up.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. The slide deck and the recording will be shared out to everybody who registered. After you have taken this information and you have worked on it, if you have questions about your application, you're welcome to reach out, and we're here to help you. We want you to put your best application forward. So don't hesitate to give us a call or an email, but do a little research and working first. And